18th of March 2026 as the date today. And thank you very much for beginning your day with us right here on the Morning Drift. You are watching Lookup TV. We are online at Lookup TV across all our social media platforms. You can talk to us. Our WhatsApp lines are right there on your screen as well. You can talk to us. We shall find a way to talk back to you as well. The question has always been, what is the agenda of our politicians in the country? We don't know now. It's either you belong to the one-term movement or the two-term movement. But is that an agenda by itself? Is that an agenda? Is it enough for you to say one term or two term, that's what's going to give you popularity? The president has been saying it. Those in the united opposition have been saying it as well. So as a Kenyan, you wonder, where is the gist in that conversation for one term and two term? That's what we talk about this morning. Even as the united opposition keeps on saying one term, what is their big agenda? What are they pushing for? We haven't seen it. We haven't seen those factions come together and say that this is exactly what we need to deliver to the people of Kenya. All that we're hearing from the likes of Rigathi Gachagua, from the likes of Matiang'i, is that Ruto needs to go. But is that enough? At a time when Ruto has also been speaking heavily on his development agenda, the plans that he has. He's been speaking on affordable housing, he's been speaking on the Nyota funds, he's been speaking on the employment platforms that is created for the young people in the country. Is the united opposition fighting or moving in a way that they might not convince Kenyans to vote for them? Also, if you are a young person this morning, you do know that there is a campaign online right now called Niko Kadi. If you don't have a voter's card, it's time for you to walk into the IEBC registration centers across the country, register, get your vote, get ready to make a decision in this country. 75% of the Kenyan people are young. So that means that you have a golden opportunity as a young person in the country to go right ahead and vote come 2027. The question that I'm asking you this morning as a young person is, uko kadi? Kama hauko kadi, then tumejitoa kwa kadi 2027. I don't know whether that makes sense, but is all I gotta say. So make sure that you have a voter's card, register, confirm your voting stations or your polling stations, and get ready to be counted come 2027. It only makes sense if the young people in this country who are the majority also make the majority of those who are going to vote come 2027. Don't get locked out. All right, that's exactly what we're waking up to this morning. I'll be playing for you clips of the president getting back to Gachagua and the opposition. The closer out, there's no limitation. Some of the things that the president is saying cannot be played on air, but we're trying to make a proper selection. So we play for you this morning as part of our conversation on where that specific development agenda really is. Good. Let's then see exactly what you're waking up to this morning on your dailies as well, because that's also going to form the back end of our conversation. As usual, we're going to start with the Daily Nation this morning. And this is the headline, gloves off. That's what they're saying here. So the story here is that President William Ruto yesterday responded to blistering attacks by his rivals with an unprecedented tirade that essentially accused some of heinous crimes, including murder, as the varying factions descended into an ugly slugfest. All right, it's a slugfest in the lead up to the next year's general election, in which the incumbent is seeking re-election. That's the story. Yeah? And he was saying these things during his tour in Western. We'll be playing for you those clips this morning so that you also help us make sense. In his own words, he's called former DP Rigathi Gachagua a fraudster, all right? Murderer. They're saying you impregnated a girl the age of your child, then killed her, right? What can you tell us? Is this a person to lead anywhere? Is this a person to lead any community? That's what he said. Weight issues, all right? I was surprised to hear them say William Ruto does not sleep. That is emaciated. I'm intelligent to know when to cut down weight to concentrate on what to do. I'll be playing for you those clips this morning so that you and I can make sense of them as well. And he was addressing residents of Kakamega town where he handed 200 beneficiaries keys to affordable housing units in Milimani estate yesterday. Yeah, and that's the story. Nothing more, nothing less. All right, let's cross over to the Standard as well, because I know they've also carried about the same story. For them, they've said it's unpresidential. You and I are going to make sense of it this morning, whether indeed what the president is saying and what we are reading from this end is really presidential or not. Now, whatever happened to presidential decorum? That's the question that I'm asking this morning. Ruto's 4-day Western tour meant to showcase development instead became a shocking display of insults, body shaming, and personal attacks. Opposition leaders were ridiculed for their families, habits, and political failures, while the president boasted of his achievements. A platform that should inspire hope turned into a spectacle of unchecked profanity and political theater. That story has been covered on page 4. A couple of comments here that the Standard has also picked, saying that we have a person possessed with the spirit of tribalism, hatred, and division. He is moving in churches, funerals, and on the roadside, telling us nothing. The person who has gone to the bedside of his dying brother to manipulate his will and disinherit the widow and orphans of their property. He has no moral authority to lecture or tell us anything. This is not a person to lead anywhere and anything. I'm giving him a notice. We will not allow him to mislead this nation. A character who has no morals. Then he goes on to say, there is another one, and I was even shocked. I had him yesterday saying Ruto is not sleeping because he has lost weight. Indeed, these people are fools, he continues, and then says they are overeating. They talk about me cutting weight. I'm intelligent enough to know when to reduce my weight so that I can focus on what I do. I'm disciplined enough to know how much to do. All right? And eat to stay alert. For you people, you have eaten so much that your stomach protrudes and your head looks ready to burst. Yep, and this was an address to the people of Kakamega. So use that opportunity to get back to his critics. Gachagua is also spoken. Yeah, if you do listen, he also said the president's ears are looking up. He's lost so much weight that the ears are looking up. All right, Gachagua also come back and said, I actually wanted to make you angry. So let's go. I'm going to make you angry all the way to the end. For a man who's not holding any public office in the country, you wonder why the president would even bother to respond to him. You think it's unpresidential or not? Talk to us at Look Up TV across all your social media platforms. That is on Twitter, that's on X, on Facebook. WhatsApp lines are right there on your screen. If you want to talk to us this morning, kindly talk to us and tell us whether you think this is unpresidential or not. On or not. Let's then cross over to the events that you're waking up to this morning as your trends. And I would start this morning. There's a member of parliament, yeah, who has proposed that the National House speak Kikuyu, sort of hold debates in Kikuyu for 2 hours every time they have a sanction. And he's saying this would make Kenyans realize that the Kikuyu community is a well-respected community in this country and that they should be listened to as well. All right? That is George Koimburi, this morning, Juja Member of Parliament, who said he wants mother tongue or the parliament to allow them to speak Kikuyu in parliament. And he's saying that majority of them in that house are Kikuyu, so showing that how well represented they are in that house. Question is, should parliament introduce vernacular languages in parliament? Let's take a look at that clip. Once we come back, we'll see how Kenyans are reacting to it.
Na mimi nitahakikisha nimeleta mswada bungeni ya tupewe masaa mawili kwa kila kwa juma la wiki ndio tuweze kuongea lugha yetu ya Wakikuyu, ndio watu wajue Wakikuyu wameakilishwa vizuri pale bungeni, na Wakikuyu ni watu ambao yafaa waheshimike katika Jamhuri la Kenya. Kwa hivyo sisi tunaomba serikali yetu taifa, hii mswada ya kuongea lugha ya mama, lugha ya Wakikuyu ni lugha ambayo iko na watu wengi, hata makabila wengine wanajua hii lugha ya Wakikuyu. Kwa hivyo sio vibaya kuongea lugha ya Wakikuyu hata tukiwa ndani ya bunge na hata tukiwa hapa nje tukiongea na wananchi.
I've got nothing to say, but if you listen to him, he's not saying let's go speak mother tongue in parliament. He's saying allow us to speak Kikuyu. He has not said let's speak the 47 plus languages that we have in this country. No, he just said let's go speak Kikuyu. He's only saying that Kikuyus should be allowed to speak Kikuyu in parliament. And he's actually saying that it's a well-known language across the country and that even the other tribes know Kikuyu very well. So it won't be a problem for them to speak Kikuyu in parliament. Yeah? That's exactly what this member of parliament is saying. So I'll just read a couple of comments here from you. Nganga, right? He's saying it's a deliberate move actually coming from his master. We know who. Now the masses will start saying we have had enough of Kikuyu supremacy and their rhetorics. It's meant to push tribalism. That's what Nganga is saying this morning. This is a PK who's saying advocate for road construction in Juja constituency, especially in Kimbo and Kenyatta Road. Advocate, we talk. Kikuyu National Assembly, that you won't do. Calls him an idiot. That's how he ends that particular statement right there. Ocho who's saying, who elected this fool? What the hell? Amani AI, Juja people, kwani muko na akili inatoshana hivi? Mwone tu huyu ndio anafaa? That's a question that Ocho Kenneth is asking this morning on this particular one. Engineer Rafael Kibet Koril was saying, so Kikuyu be a national language now, is that what you're saying? We're going to leave it there. It's astounding for a member of parliament to suggest that. But it's not the very first time we've seen it. There's also a member of county assembly in this country who said they would like to hold their debates in mother tongue. What do you think? Should parliament allow a 2-hour Kikuyu debate in our national house? Juja member of parliament, George Koimburi, if I'm not wrong, yes, Koimburi. MPs to speak Kikuyu. So all the members of parliament were sitting in that house. You should start learning Kikuyu then. That's what he's saying, specifically. Yeah? Hii mswada ikipita bwana, kama ujui Kikuyu, itakuwa shida. Yeah, because you have to learn it. If anything that he's saying here has got any merit, which it does not, by the way. Interesting. I'm going to leave it there and then cross to the other issue this morning. I mean, William Ruto has also been speaking on this particular issue in every stage that he gets it. He spoke about it in Kakamega on his tour, and this is what he's saying: to the brainless opposition, he continues to abuse them. The governance challenges at the Nairobi Hospital were nothing more than an opportunity to scavenge for cheap headlines and attention. But as patron of this institution, I'll not stand by and watch fraudsters, charlatans, and conmen drag down one of the premier institutions in this region. The core artists will swiftly face the full force of the law. That's what he says. This institution was built on integrity, service, and excellence, values that will not be compromised by opportunists and self-serving interests. Sanity shall be restored, order will prevail, and the right thing will be done decisively and without hesitation. And he was speaking to the residents of Kakamega on this. Let's look at it and then come back and talk about it.
Republic of Kenya, as patron of Nairobi Hospital, senior doctors, senior professionals from Nairobi hospitals approached me to save Nairobi Hospital from conmen, from fraudsters, and from charlatans who wanted to expropriate Nairobi Hospital. And I want to say, for the avoidance of doubt, nataka niwaambie wa Kenya, Nairobi Hospital is a premier medical institution hospital in the Republic of Kenya. In fact, it serves the region. There is no way I am going to allow Nairobi Hospital to be taken over, taken hostage by charlatans, by conmen, by fraudsters. That is why I have instructed with clarity that all those who are involved in fraudulent activities in Nairobi Hospital will be removed. They will be taken to court. They will be charged. And Nairobi Hospital is going to serve the people of Kenya. I want to tell the brainless opposition, find something else to do. Wachana na Nairobi Hospital. Nyinyi hamujui chochote, akili yenu iko chini sana. Sio kama tunaelewana bwana. Sasa mnaenda kukimbia maneno ya Nairobi Hospital hata hamujui nini inaendelea. Sikizeni madaktari wa Nairobi Hospital watawaeleza, wacheni upuzi. Ama namna gani my friends? Sijui kama tunaelewana. Unajua wale watu those brainless opposition, they are just scavengers. Scavenging on any headline. Oh, sijui nini Nairobi Hospital nauzwa, sijui nani anataka kununua, wacheni ujinga. We are going to stand by Nairobi Hospital. Nairobi Hospital is a public institution. It is an institution that serves the public of Kenya. And we are going to defend the right of Nairobi Hospital to exist. We are going to protect Nairobi Hospital from charlatans and crooks and conmen and fraudsters. And we are going to stop at nothing until we make Nairobi Hospital what it always has been, the premier hospital in the Republic of Kenya. Tumeelewana jameni bwana? Mount Elgon hoye. Tumekubaliana ama hatujakubaliana? Tumekubaliana?
These are the residents of Kakamega that are receiving a full speech about Nairobi Hospital. Some of them don't even know where it is. They do not know where it is. Yeah. If you ask them, I want you to take a bus and go to Nairobi Hospital, some of them will never afford it. It's one of the most expensive hospitals that we have in this country, if you do know. It is. It's a private hospital. Sasa kuna mtu hapa amekaa Kakamega anashangaa, hii Nairobi Hospital inakaa ni ya Nairobi, you know, for the city. But ukweli ni kwamba it's a private hospital. Hata shaa yako huko haifanyi, by the way. Utaenda huko ambiwa haifanyi and there's nothing you do about it. Yeah, hiyo shaa ya 6,000 a year cannot do much at Nairobi Hospital. And he spent some good time talking to Kakamega residents about Nairobi Hospital. Yeah. And there's, I've got one viewer here who's, that is at Gottfield, who's saying, you are ready to defend a private hospital against conmen, but no public hospital like Kenya National Hospital. Yes, that's a very good question. Yes, which currently as it is got limited kidney dialysis machines. You know, that would have made sense for the people of Kakamega, because it's a national referral hospital. You can get referred to KNH, you know, to get treated. Kusina mambo ya Nairobi Hospital imetokea wapi huku Kakamega? Jameni, President, tunauliza tu. Watu wa Kakamega bwana wanataka ujue hiyo level 5 yao imefika wapi? Because that has also been in headlines for quite some time now. That would have been a proper address, you know? Now, this is a Mr. Northern Ora, who's saying, Mr. President, you are also a patron of all national public health institutions. Your focus should be directed to the systematic rot within KNH, Moi, and major county referral hospitals, not private clubs. It's ironic to target Nairobi Hospital while taxpayer-funded facilities suffer from rampant theft, cartel-led equipment sabotage, and supply chain corruption. Redirect your energy toward fixing the hospitals the general public relies on and leave private membership to their own affairs. Fix the public sector first. We can't say it anymore. Hii vita bwana si ya Kakamega. Hii vita ni ya huku Nairobi na wale mabeshte wako. Mtu wa Kakamega anashangaa. Hii mambo ya Nairobi inanihusu aje, President? Na umeongea hapo na kizungu mingi. Yeah? Anyway, Natembeya, was a leader in the western part of the country, has all been following the president. Wherever the president goes, Natembeya is also responding. And this was his response to some of the issues that the president has been covering in the western part of the country. We're going to listen to it and then see how you guys have been responding to it as well. Let's take a look. Just before we get to listen to the next video, I do apologize that that video for one Natembeya has not been made ready. So let me give you context into the next clip, which is Oscar Sudi has gone online and shared exactly what he is doing in his constituency, and some proper Kenyans have gone online and looked at the improvements that is done in some of the schools in the region. And, well, they've compared Oscar Sudi and what Dini Nyoro has been doing. Dini Nyoro has been known as the Cabro Member of Parliament, and Oscar Sudi has given us exactly what he's doing here. Going on to share the before and after improvement of one of the local schools in the region, that is St. Joseph's Secondary Schools. It looks elegant, should I say. I mean, look at it. Yeah, this is what it was, and now it is right here. All right, and a lot of Kenyans have come up to, you know, look at what is said, what is done, and I do not know. I don't know whether you see the end, the tail end of this picture right here. Yeah, I do not know whether cameras can see it. The tail end of this picture right here. Because as a secondary school, we do know this can't be the entire school. For those of us who've attended secondary school in the country, this can't be the entire school. So Kenyans have said, if you go to St. Joseph's Secondary School, there is this block here that was not captured in the picture. So they're asking Oscar Sudi, ni sawa, hii inakaa poa, but what about this? There's a block here. And if you can see it, actually, it's got brown mabati, it doesn't have concrete, it doesn't have plaster on the wall. So they're asking him, Bwana, what are your plans with this block here? Yeah? Mbona unachukua picha, iko na perspective moja. Kama umeamua kutengeza shule, tengeza shule umalize yote. Yeah? All right. This is Yesua was asking him, what are your plans with the bloc on the extreme right? Yeah. This is now Linda Kahi who's saying it'll come next year during campaigns. The money allocated for Rangi got finished. They'll have to allocate again. All right. This is Millennial. Last one who's saying it also get painted alafu ipigwe picha. Sijani kama unaweza ipiga picha. Unaweza ipaint. Lazima uchape plaster kwanza alafu ndio upige picha. All right. Hiyo ni agenda ya campaign ya 2027. This is Goodman. All right. This is Elon who's saying bwana you'll get his IT team fired bwana. Waliambiwa wapige tu hiyo block picha. Alafu waka make mistake wakapiga hiyo block ingine picha yenye hatukuwa tunaona. Well, I mean Kenyans online who scrutinize media and they will unearth anything that you're trying to hide. Guess what? For the next 1 minute, I want us to listen to the president talking back to the united opposition in the country. Just before we look at the clip on Atembea, it's good for us to look at the president then talking to the opposition in the country, because that also makes the back end of our conversation that we're going to have this morning on what the agenda is, because the president is telling them, I don't see your agenda. You can't abuse me. If you can abuse me, I can do one better. Ladies and gentlemen, let's take a look, let's take a listen, and then come back and talk about it.
Sasa mimi niwaulize Kakamega hoye. Sasa mimi ni mtu niko na akili, najua wakati wa kupunguza ndio niweze kuconcentrate, najua vile ya kwenda gym, najua vile ya kupunguza chakula. Sasa mimi nataka niwaulize, mkiona wale majamaa si waende wajiangalie kwa kioo? Wale majamaa waende wajiangalie kwa kioo. Tumbo karibu inararua shati, kichwa karibu inapasuka. Mimi nawaambia tafadhali endeni kwa gym, punguza ratili yenu, punguza chakula. Munalala kwa mkutano mchana kiholela, hata hewa munaharibu. Please, wacheni hiyo upuzi. Wale watu ni wapuzi, si wapuzi. Ni mafala, si mafala. Tunaelewana my friends? Si wale watu waende kwa gym kidogo, wapunguze hiyo ratili mingi. Kichwa karibu inapasuka, tumbo karibu inapasuka kwa sababu ya kukula bila ya kupima. Ama namna gani? Mtu analala kwa mkutano 3/4 mtu ambaye ataendesha Kenya. Ataamuka saa ngapi ndio aendeshe Kenya? Na unajua nyinyi mnafikiri ya kwamba nawaingilia kwa bure. Mimi walisema jana, mimi niliwaambia situongee mambo ya maendeleo, wakasema hapana. Niliwaambia jameni, tafuteni sera, tafuteni agenda, tafuteni mpango, toeni maono ndio tuweze kushindana. Wakasema ati wao hawataki maono, hawataki agenda, hawataki mpango, ati agenda yao ni mimi William Ruto. Sasa kama munasema mimi ndio agenda yenu, karibuni, niko tayari. Tutapambana na nyinyi. 99% of the time nitafanyia kazi wa Kenya. 1% of the time nitadeal na nyinyi. Sijui kama tunaelewana jameni. Hawa jamaa ni washughulikia ama sitawashughulikia? Hawa jamaa nitawashughulikia.
It's a good note to end our trends this morning, because the president is telling them, I mean, I told you to give me your agenda, you didn't give it to me. You decided that I'm going to be your agenda. So now, I'll deal with you. We talk about that this morning. Let me just 2 comments before we take a break and invite our guests who are already in the studio then to start our morning conversation. This is Nick. Some of the things I'm not supposed to say on air, you know, they can't escape. Mzalenda was saying, to be told, the opposition has no clear plan to make Kenya better. Never had them outline the manifesto to us, Kazi ni ho, Kasongo, ho, one term, ho, Baba Shalim. We are tired of their empty slogans. Kenyans want someone who can make this nation Singapore of Africa. I'm really glad President Ruto is walking the talk. Progress is visible. Daniel Jambi was saying, you were once an icon. It gives me grief to see what money has done to your logic. That's what he's saying. If it hasn't, arrest it all together. You were an icon, my friend. An icon. We end this with Kazi Kwampango and the United Opposition will only fight through body shaming. Hawana sera za kuuza two-term, and that's exactly what we talk about this morning. That is one term, an agenda. Once we come back, I'll be introducing the guest who will be joining us in the studio this morning to talk about this particular issue. Is the president right by saying the United Opposition is got no agenda? And is it true what Kenyans are saying here, that we haven't listened to it? It's nowhere. The president is saying, give me your agenda. Once we come back, I'll be introducing those guests this morning. Be part of the conversation and look up TV across all of them. The hashtag is The Morning Drift. Once we come back, we jump into that conversation. Good morning.
I recall the doctor telling me that day, he said, Sarah, I'm sorry about what happened to you, but you see, life happens. You would have to learn to work with your hands, depend on your hands more.
And today, if you're going through anything that you do not understand, just call on this name, Jesus, and he will save you.
I realized I loved music when I was about 7 or 8. I used to puff my cheeks and play the 12-bar blues. Like I'd walk around the house doing like...
Why do we need the Holy Spirit?
I mean, if you look at what Jesus said when he was leaving, he said he is going and that he will send the Holy Spirit as our helper.
So God knows everything since the end, from the beginning, has a plan for your life. So to find that plan for your life, you must find God. When you find God, you will know the path for your life.
Taarifa zinapochipuka na kutufikia papa hapa kwenye makao makuu ya chumba cha habari cha runinga ya Lookup, kwenye taifa, kwenye serikali, kwenye bunge, tunajitosa hadi kwenye sauti ya wenyeji ili kupata tu maoni ya wenyeji kuhusu masuala haya yanayochipuka.
Maana hii kitu inaenda kuumiza Mkenya kwa tax.
Hakuna kitu tunafurahia. Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Sisi tunaumia, si ati tunaumia ile ya kiukweli. Juu maisha ni ngumu.
Na bila shaka tunapata maoni yao ili sauti yao ipate kusikika. Na watasema hili, waseme lile, watasema hiki, na waseme kile, almuradi sauti yao ipate taa.
Mambo ya mafuta tena imekuwa ni changamoto zaidi kwa kila mtu wa bodaboda.
Uchumi ikikuwa stable, tunaamini mambo itakuwa sawa sawa.
Kwanza liko na ria wasa wa boda, mama mboga nini. Hao sasa ndio wamefinywa zaidi man.
Mtazamaji, hii ni bunge la wenyeji.
Do you need a dose of hope? If so, you are in the right place. We think of ourselves around here as hope dealers, delivering truth, power, and inspiration to hearts and minds all over the world. If nothing else has worked for you, why not give the God thing a try? For it's in the presence of God that you'll find everything that you need. Amen.
Unaona Ruto, unaona vile amekonda, Sasa mimi niwaulize, Kakamega hoye. Sasa mimi ni mtu niko na akili, najua wakati wa kupunguza ndio niweze kuconcentrate, najua vile ya kwenda gym, najua vile ya kupunguza chakula, Sasa mimi nataka niwaulize, mkiona wale majamaa, si waende wajiangalie kwa kioo? Wale majamaa waende wajiangalie kwa kioo. Tumbo karibu inararua shati, kichwa karibu inapasuka. Mimi nawaambia tafadhali, endeni kwa gym, punguza ratili yenu, punguza chakula. Munalala kwa mkutano mchana kiholela, hata hewa munaharibu. Please, wacheni hiyo upuzi. Wale watu ni wapuzi, si wapuzi, ni mafala, si mafala. Tunaelewana my friends? Si wale watu waende kwa gym kidogo, wapunguze hiyo ratili mingi. Kichwa karibu inapasuka, tumbo karibu inapasuka kwa sababu ya kukula bila ya kupima. Ama namna gani? Mtu analala kwa mkutano 3/4, mtu ambaye ataendesha Kenya. Ataamuka saa ngapi ndio aendeshe Kenya? Na unajua nyinyi mnafikiri ya kwamba nawaingilia kwa bure. Mimi walisema jana, mimi niliwaambia situongee mambo ya maendeleo, wakasema hapana. Niliwaambia jameni, tafuteni sera, tafuteni agenda, tafuteni mpango, toeni maono ndio tuweze kushindana. Wakasema ati wao hawataki maono, hawataki agenda, hawataki mpango, ati agenda yao ni mimi William Ruto. Sasa kama munasema mimi ndio agenda yenu, karibuni, niko tayari. Tutapambana na nyinyi. 99% of the time nitafanyia kazi wa Kenya. 1% of the time nitadeal na nyinyi. Sijui kama tunaelewana jameni. Hawa jamaa ni washughulikia ama sitawashughulikia? Hawa jamaa nitawashughulikia.
That's the introduction to our conversation this morning, and that is a snapshot of exactly what's going on across the country when it comes to the campaign period that the country is officially entered into unapologetically. Every other side is now officially campaigning. So I've got a couple of questions that we're asking this morning, and I'll give you the scope of what we're talking about. If you look at what the president is talking about, is saying that when he listens to the opposition, they have nothing that they're offering other than making him the agenda. And this is where we are. And this is what he's saying. I'll get you this particular quote here, where the president is saying that I've asked them to give me an agenda, all right? But all they go around saying is one term, and have no plan for this country. They have no agenda for the people of Kenya. The president framed the next election as a choice between continuity of his administration's economic agenda and what he described as empty rhetoric from his rivals. So then, the question that we're asking this morning is one term an agenda, according to the president? And joining us this morning, we do expect one Ruth Bolo, who's the co-founder, Sisterhood Project, to walk into the studio shortly. She's around. And also in the studio, we do already have Umoja Julius, National Youth Leader, Wiper Party. It's already in the studio, and we do know Wiper Party belongs to the one-term movement. How are you doing, sir?
I'm fine.
Karibu sana.
Thank you very much, and thank you for inviting me so that at least we can have a robust discussion on the current political temperature of the country. And we are looking for so that at least we can dissect issues and also give the Kenyans a direction for 2027.
Happy to have you around. I've been wanting to talk to you since last year. It's a good thing that you're in the studio this morning. So, we do know very well that you belong to the united opposition in this country. And this is the biggest accusation that the president is giving you this morning, is that you have no specific agenda currently as it is that you're pushing to the people of Kenya. All that you're selling as a united opposition in this country, Mr. Umoja, is one term. And he's saying one term is not an agenda. He's saying, can I hear one or two things that you want to do for the people of Kenya before you come in and start saying one term? On that basis, is discrediting your entire united opposition movement as useless.
You know, first and foremost, we are not called the United Opposition. The Kenyans gave us a new name that we are called the United Alternative Government. So going forward, we are called the United Alternative Government because the current government has failed, and the people of Kenya entrusted us with the responsibility that we are now the optional government in place. That's why they gave us the name the United Alternative Government. Then secondly, you know, whatever the president should know is that as a United Alternative Government, it remains the agenda of the people of Kenya. But as a United Alternative Government, is not our agenda. Our agenda are number one, what are we doing in the education sector? What are we going to do in the health sector? What are we going to do in the agriculture sector? What are we going to do in the ICT sector? All these sectors that we have in place. And whatever, out of the utterances that I'm hearing the president saying, one term is not our agenda. One term is a refrain, is a political refrain statement that we always make after we say something that we are going to do in the health sector. After we say something that we are going to do in the education sector, after we say what we are going to do in the ICT sector and the agricultural sector, all this epitome statement at the end of each and every manifesto that we have is one term. One term is just a philosophy, a reference statement, and in Kiswahili we call it a kibwagizo. After each and every statement, we do the one-term philosophy because Kenyans are tired.
Yes.
We work, the reason why it has been so hard also to get me, because we work in every part of the country. Out of the 47 counties, out of each and every polling stations that we have, around 51,000 polling stations that we have in the country, so that we listen to what people are saying. I'm telling you, and I want to confirm it here, Kenyans are tired. One term is not our agenda. One term is a different political statement that we use after giving out the manifesto to each and every Kenyan in different sector.
Yes. And this is what the president is saying, that is worried that in every move that you're making across the country, that his name must come up. That you've decided to make him the main agenda instead of pushing your different political agenda as an opposition generally. And Umoja, I'll be coming to exactly what Kalonzo Musyoka has been speaking heavily about. But as we introduce this subject, the president is saying that what you have done is that you've decided collectively as a united alternative government, just like you've given us this morning, you've decided to make him your agenda. So the president is saying as well, because you've decided to make him your agenda, what he's going to do is also make you your agenda. That 99% of the time is going to be used for working on Kenyans, and then 1% dealing with the united opposition. Must you always invoke the name of the president everywhere you go in this country? The president is worried. Why must you do that?
You know, I'm also surprised because the president also, even when during I think he's in Kakamega right now doing the Western tour.
Yes.
He diverted from, because each and every point where he goes, he has to mention the names of the United Alternative Government. For the past weeks, he has been on my party leader, Dr. Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka, on the 40 political journey and leadership. The other time, when he was in Mount Kenya, he has to mention the name of Rigathi Gachagua, who is also our affiliate and also like-minded within the United Alternative Government. And right now, he has diverted from that and he has become the nutritionist. He is now the nutritionist advisor of the United Alternative Government on what we are supposed to be taking, apart from his skill area that we know is a botany and zoology. We are now his agenda. If we are not his agenda, why is he even coming to the social life of the United Alternative Government people that enda always you enda ufanye nini? With him, he has also turned the United Alternative Government principles to be his agenda. Us is not our agenda. To the Kenyans is the agenda because the philosophy remains that he has to be removed from the office. Yes. But to us, United Alternative Government, we are giving Kenyans hope by saying some of the things that we are going to do within 2027, and I'm going to dissect the things that we are going to do with the time. That in each and every sector, even in the education sector, we have the challenges of the university funding model. What are we going to do as a United Alternative Government? Do we have an alternative mechanism that we are going to put in place so that at least we bring the equity in the education sector? Yes. When you go to the health, we've seen whatever is happening with the SHA. We have an option that we are going to do what he wants, that he wants our manifesto so early on the alternative things that we are going to do so that he can use them to better, and also he can play the psychological and also the intelligent quotient of the Kenyans. Yes. We are very careful. And I want to tell the president that we are very careful. We are going to give our manifesto to all the people of Kenya at the right time, when we are also going to unveil our presidential candidate. But right now, we will not give a manifesto. Do what you promise the Kenyans. Do what you promise during your campaigns. Right now, we are telling the Kenyans, because we are in the opposition, with us we highlight the areas that we have the gap within the country, and the areas that the president is not doing right with his cabinet secretaries, plus any other government official, plus all the parastatal CEOs. Our work is to counter-check. Our work is to audit the government. Our work will remain telling the Kenyans the truth. If he wants our agenda, let him first implement the agenda that we give the Kenyans. Our agenda are very clear. We launch them in the public, at the right place, at the right time, with the right presidential aspirant.
Yes. So for now, just take 15 seconds to respond to this.
Yes.
So for now, before we know clearly what the agenda for the United Opposition is, it is speak against the president. Is that what the only thing that Kenyans are hearing from you now is speak against the president? Everything that the president says, you're saying no to it.
And giving the Kenyans hope. Because with us, United Alternative Government, whatever, we are just the mouthpiece. We are just the speakers of whatever happens in the polling stations. Yes. All polling stations are saying the president is not doing the right thing. All polling stations, people are complaining. All polling stations are in each and every part of the country. Even people are alluding so that they can go. We've seen a lot of demonstrations in the country. As a United Alternative Government, our principles will remain the mouthpiece. They will remain the speakers of whatever happens, and also speaking on behalf of the silent minority and the silent majority that comes from a polling center that cannot be heard but voted for this particular government.
Yes.
Once the government has been put in place, it will serve whether you voted for this government or whether you do not vote for this government. We will remain not only opposing but giving hope for the Kenyans and telling them some of the alternative things, mechanism that should be put in place so that we can be in a position to counter this government, because they are not understanding. This government, even if you use the legislation, is not working. So which mechanism are they understanding best? They have understood the demonstration we've seen in the past. And also, they are understanding worse being on the rallies and also on the sunroofs, telling the Kenyans on the areas of the gaps that this country is going in the bad direction. And we will keep it, even tomorrow.
Yes.
We have Anatoka to Western. We will be out of Western, we get into the Western. Then we go to Coast. Then we go to Northeastern. We are just waiting for the Ramadan. Once Ramadan is over, we go to Coast. We go to Northeastern. We will go to every part of this country to put this government on toes.
That's it. And I was actually going to come back to that, because Umoja, there are questions here that Kenyans are actually putting across the United Opposition.
United Alternative Government.
United Alternative Government.
Yes.
I'll get corrected this morning.
Yes.
United Alternative Government, on why it looks as if they are following where the president is going. You follow those places and sort of go and try and, for lack of a better word, mimic what he has done to try and see where you are. I'll be coming back to you on that. Well, look, it's good morning. How are you doing?
Fine, thank you, Simba. How are you? Good
Fantastic.
morning.
Happy to see you.
Happy to see you too.
That's it.
And I'm glad to have been here when Umoja was radicalizing the space with a lot of things that I would like to just jump right into, if you allow me, Simba.
In fact, I'll give you that opportunity to
okay,
as well.
Okay.
Let's begin, because I started by asking him this question, that the president is complaining to the people of Kenya.
Yes.
That it so looks as if the opposition in this country has made him the agenda, instead of focusing on telling the people of Kenya what the alternatives are from what he's doing to the people of Kenya. And therefore he's saying, look here, when I listen to you in the opposition, I hear nothing. All I hear is the one term. Then the president is saying, but one term is on an agenda. Let's talk about issues in this country. What do you have? So we can try counter. And he's saying, I don't hear. So he's now vowing that since they have decided to make him the agenda, 99% of the time, according to the president, is going to be used for working for the Kenyan people, and 1% of his time is going to be used to deal with the United Opposition. I do not know what dealing with means in that respect. Do you agree that the United Opposition, the United Alternative Government, just like Umoja is putting it to us this morning, the agenda is one term and nothing more than that?
Wow, so allow me to start by saying, in as much as Ruto must go, Rigathi Gachagua is also not the best option we have for this country. That being said, when we talk about opposition, we often think about the United Alternative, is it? Yes. Government, as they have said it. But I would like to see them remain true to their name, because an alternative government would have given us alternatives to some of the issues that we are facing today. An alternative government would have had their members of parliament very active in Bunge, in National Assembly and in Senate, actually doing, I mean, look at the infrastructure fund. Have we seen the members of parliament and members of Senate of the alternative opposition in the assembly, not in rallies, doing what they need to do? Have we seen their members of county assemblies actually present alternatives to some of the issues that we are facing? I would have loved to see them give a parallel State of the Nation address, where the United Alternative Government then is able to tell us this is the State of the Nation that has been given by the country, but this is the actual place where we are at. This is the idealist, this is what they're presenting to international lenders, but this is the actual picture on ground. This is our actual reality. We're not seeing that. I think one of the reasons why I will caution us, every time we're talking opposition, we are thinking of just the United Alternative, yet we have very many others. It leaves us with a two-horse race, yet we have other options that could be better for this country. Yes. So I think I'd like to start this conversation by cautioning us that the opposition is much larger than just the United Alternative Government. UAG, for purposes, I mean, that name is too long. For purposes of this conversation, if you allow me, Moja. So it's bigger than UAG, yeah. Right? We've got Justice Maraga, who's also vying, and he's on opposition. We've got Fred Matiang'i, who's not a member of UAG, as far as I'm concerned. We've got, many others that are coming out to say that they want to vie. We've got young people that are coming out to say that they will want to vie for presidency. Come end of this year, we might have someone else come out to say that I am in opposition and I would like to vie. So I think one of the biggest issues we have is we don't know what opposition is. Opposition is not just anybody who is not in government. Opposition is not just anybody who can speak fluent English against the government. I like what Linda Mwananchi did. Linda Mwananchi went out, immediately the COIN10 gave their statement. They also put out their statement and said, this is what COIN10 is yes. saying has been achieved, that this is the reality. That's what we want to see. We want to see objective conversations. We want to see conversations based on agendas, not conversations based on who is sleeping with who is eating what food, who is eating the food of whose mother. I think that is politics for 19 patopukas, as my people in the village would call it. Yes. We are now in modern days where, I mean, if you look at the protests that have been going on, if you look at the conversations young people are having, and I know UAG and government are both targeting young people could not care less about some of the insults you're throwing at each other. We will enjoy them, we will laugh at them, but they will not form basis of whether or not we are going to vote for you. Yes. So I think for me it is a challenge to UAG and any other opposition outfits that fine, you've got good English, you can mobilize us, but beyond that, can we see some policy-based conversations? Mm-hmm. Can we see alternatives? If you're telling us that SHA is not working, tell us in which areas, tell us why, and tell us what needs to be done better. If you're telling us that there's a lot of theft at SHA, tell us where, tell us why. The media is doing half the work for you already. So if you can't capitalize on that, then how can we trust that you will be able to take it? I mean, we are in the problems we are in now in this country because we bent down to populism politics in 2022. So we are moving away from that. So if you're engaging us, engage us based on policy, engage us based on some agenda.
That's it. Yeah. Moja, I'll come to you on that as well. Now, this is what we're waking up to this morning, and
to correct some of the utterances that I'm getting here.
Yes.
The first one is just to say that Dr. Fred Matiang'i is a member of the United Alternative Government, and you've seen he had been endorsed by the Jubilee Party to be their flag bearer in the presidential 2027.
Yes. Jubilee and a member of UAG?
Absolutely. You've not seen us work with the Jubilee. Even we were in Kisii the other day and we were with him, he was the host. So, number two, let her also go after this. I think she can be updated better by checking at the social media platforms, and also because the United Alternative Government has been doing the State of Nation address. The latest one being that we did this month. Some are being done at the political party level, and others are being done at the coalition level. Every time, even the latest one we did when we were in Meru. So I think, and we also give the alternatives. This government, if you look at if you look at the MPs that we have, for example, in this particular country, all the MPs that United Alternative Government, how many MPs do we have? Number two, the is it called?
Broad-based.
Not bread, okay, broad-based government. This broad-based government, how many MPs is the broad-based government? I mean, you'll find that the broad-based government has overweighed the alternative government with the MPs. And in the legislation, that's where most of the policies are being passed, and also some of the laws are being passed. So however much you bring them into the National Assembly, we give our time to the National Assembly, you'll find that those that will not be in a position to favor the government, they'll try to be in a position to mobilize themselves, and they will not pass, because they pass by the majority, they don't pass by the minority. Yes. But I would wish that she can get updated on what the United Alternative Government does, the solutions, even if we don't provide solutions, but we mostly provide the approaches to the solutions that we have in the problems that we face as a country.
That's it.
Yes. Just so that we don't end up with a lot of rhetoric, I'd like to be educated and updated, as you said. What are two examples or two approaches that you, as alternative government, have given at your recent SONA? Please do update me.
Okay, for the purposes of updating her, the recent one, you said that the president gave an order to the police that you're supposed to be shooting people. This shooting, we've come out to give the names of the people who are shooting. Has it not helped? It has helped, because it has helped. Recently, we had a lot of police shooting everywhere, and we had insecurities. We, as a United Alternative Government, we try to bring these people on board. And we go to the IG, Inspector General of Police. We've marched, even this month, we've gone there twice, to the Inspector General, to stop killing people. Have we not seen the rate of killing, the rate of crime going down? It has come down. Then number two, in terms of the policy frameworks, and we've seen our members of parliament, like the latest one being the broad-based vote, which was done at the KICC. Yes. What did our MPs do? They were in the parliament debating, and also the debate was ongoing. So we, as a United Alternative Government, we are not following the government, because this government has failed totally. We are the only solution and approaches to this particular government. I want to tell you, Bolo, here, and I know after this, I'll be in a position, because 2027, you'll be calling me, and I'll try to, we come together so that at least be providing some solutions to the people. I know we talk under that, and she always agrees that this government has totally failed. Because
I still do agree, and I think I started my conversation by saying
this government, the epitome statement of this, the government has failed. We, United Alternative Government, we are the solution. And they are looking after us in everything that we say, so that they can be in a position to counter check. But the president is a nutritionist right now. He's not. He has lowered himself to the side of being nutritionist on what we should be taking at the United Opposition. Too bad.
Yes, and I wanted to begin, and I wanted to take you in that direction as well. I mean, your main speaker in the United Opposition, a former DP, Rigathi Gachagua, when you track. Let's go back even 2 weeks before this. Let's go back to last weekend as well. Even this tirade that the president has gotten into, which has prompted you to call him a nutritionist, it was not started by the president, Umoja. It was started by a United Opposition leader, who's the DCP party leader, that is one Rigathi Gachagua, who came out and said, I mean, we're never going to let the president slip. We are going to keep on pushing to the wall, to the point that he started commenting about his body, saying that his ears are now looking up, he's losing weight because of what we're doing on the ground. But is that the agenda? I mean, that's why the president is attacking you. It's like, well, you can't start body shaming. If you start to go that direction, I'll go that direction as well. That the biggest push for Rigathi Gachagua is one term, as opposed to the agenda to get the president out of office. Is that what it is? Is the president right to call it out?
The statements which were uttered by the DCP party leader, Honorable Rigathi Gachagua, they were uttered on a handsome remarks. Because he was just saying the positioning of the ear. That was a handsome remark. Was that an abuse?
Yes, yes, Umoja.
No, he said from that
yes.
statement,
yes.
that he was saying
yes.
that we are not going to let the president sleep. We want to keep him on the task. Is that positive or not positive? If you keep the president on toes, so that he can do his work, what is promised to the people, is that negative?
Well, the premise, the statements before that are leading to...
And he said,
yes.
he continued to say, and nowadays, I think you've seen, he is now, even the body shape has tried to reduce because of the work that we are giving him. We are putting him on toes. Is that positive or negative? You know how people try to translate these things. That thing did not need direct translation.
Yes.
But for the president, what he said yesterday, in both direct and indirect translation, it was negative.
Umoja, I like even before you come in and defend Rigathi Gachagua, there's a premise to what he said. I mean, you got to go back a couple of paragraphs before.
Do you have the clip?
Yes, we do. In fact, we're going to pull up the clip as well. We're going to
position so that we can read on the same note.
We're going to play it for you because before that, he kept on saying the president that the president has got into manufacturing, the president has got into health, the president is trying to steal here and there, the president is trying to steal this, and this. Now, up to the point where he said, we are going to push him to the wall, and this is exactly what has been. So, is it not okay for the president to say, hey, Rigathi Gachagua, why are you talking about Ruto on that stage instead of talking about policy? You made the entire speech about the president right there and then. It's the build-up to the ears. It was about Ruto, not about policy, not about agenda. There was nothing about policy and agenda. Is the president all right to say, well, you're making it about me, man?
Let me tell you. You see, first, we know the head of the state is the president.
Yes.
And is the one in charge of everything, the policy formulation and everything that runs this particular country.
Yes.
So anything that we think that is not going right, we direct to the president. We cannot direct something to the cabinet secretary. Cabinet secretary is just an employee of the president. President is the boss. So if you hear people crying in this particular country, they don't cry for the cabinet secretaries. They don't cry for the PSS. They don't cry for the chief of what? They cry for the president. That is why I told you that we people, United we are the mouthpiece. We say what happens in the polling centers, the polling stations. We hear it, we maximize it, then we put it on air. Those things, they don't come from us. They come from the people that is representing. Where the policy is made. Is the Rigathi Gachagua a member of the executive? He's not a member of the executive. Is the president that is a member of the executive? So with us, even if we bring which policy, do you think they can be in a position to implement it? They cannot. Because we don't have somebody can be in the position, only that we can add through the media. But whoever picks it up, all those cabinet secretaries, the 22 of them, who will pick the agenda that we put or the policies that we can formulate? Because they are not all those, they were given work by the president. Unless the president can be in a position, the president, let him learn that he can be in a position to consult. Let him consult. That's why the late Raila Amolo Odinga could work together with them, because it was open for consultations. With us, when you want consultations, so that on some things which are not being done right, my friend, it's not working. So what do? We keep the Kenyans on toes, and we keep you on toes.
Yes.
If SHA, how much has been lost in SHA? How much has been? No, it is in public records. It's in public records. That's not my handwriting. How much has been lost in SHA? A lot of money. How much money? Previously, before United, as a United, every child service 2 million, 1 million, 2 million, 1 million. And we know the salaries the people earn. If we say that let us go for the audit, let us go for where do these people get this money? As a United, see, we've seen a lot of fundraisings now, they have reduced. There was a church that was supposed to be built in the State House for 2 billion. Where was that budget from? And it was not approved within the financial year budget. We talked about it. Right now, it is not built. Where the 2 million can be used to support education, can be used to support the needy people, can be used to support widows, can be used to support wazee.
Yes.
I'm telling you, we are keeping them on toes so that they can work for the people of Kenya, not putting them on toes on health matters.
That's it. And the big question is going to be when your agenda is also going to be known by the people of Kenya, because, Umoja, it's 2026 March.
Yes.
You wonder when this agenda is going to be clear for the people of Kenya, then to say, we are following the United Alternative Government because they have outlined this as their policy. I'll be coming to you on that as well. I mean, Bolo, you hear it, and then even this latest tirade by the president was not started by him. It was started by one Rigathi Gachagua. The president is merely responding to what Rigathi Gachagua has said in the past. You might come in and say, well, it wasn't presidential in some way. But then you are vindicating the president right there. Is that every time I hear you speak, it's about Ruto. Guys, can you leave me out of your conversations? Is that what it is?
First, we need to recognize that he is the head of the state, so the buck starts and stops with him. But before I answer that question, I want to make sure that my good friend here is not encouraging Kenyans and speaking to them and pushing them to act based on rumors. Number one, Jubilee Party has expressed reservations about that coalition as recent as this March, 5th of March to be very specific, and it is on public record as you call it. And so I am wondering, is it that Jubilee is confused, or are they 1 foot in, 1 foot out? And that is why I have not counted them in the United Alternative Government. Two, it's still around the same matter. Does that mean that anyone who works with UAG then automatically becomes a member of the opposition? That notwithstanding, because that is a non-issue. He talked about the police, the issue of the police and the shoot order by the president. Yes. And of course, previously, we've seen that by CS Murkomen, when we even saw young people limp just to show how they will be walking should that order be executed. But I'd like us to take us back. Was it not the same Rigathi Gachagua, who is in the United Alternative Government, in 2024, who actually pushed and encouraged the police to use, as he called it, necessary force? Was it not him? So one thing is that we need to realize his pattern. If something does not favor him, or he is not on the side of government, then it is wrong. So long as he is doing it and he is in government, then it is right. That is a pattern we are beginning to see. So UAG, it's too little, too late to just name names. Has the crime rate gone low? No. In fact, the crime rate right now has increased. I am yet to hear you talk about the gang robbery that is going on. Of course, it is because of the government, and that is why they keep on calling the president's name. Because for the first time in a long time, we are seeing people being robbed by 10 to 12 motorcycles at a go. We are seeing a lot of murders, unexplained murders, for the first time in this country. And that is giving people the confidence to threaten in business deals, in political spaces, in whatever deals, that I will kill you and nothing will happen to me. Why? Because they know that there is a precedent that has been set in this country. So it is factually wrong to say that crime rate has gone down or insecurity has gone down. Yes. So if the United Alternative Government is to address us, Umoja, you people must start from facts. You cannot use a populism fact and bandage solutions to come and claim long-term solutions. For me, I am concerned that they don't have any sustainable solutions. Thus, they cannot be trusted with sustainable development post-2027. I think I'd also like to hear a bit more of policy. Just standing there and telling us, so and so short, so and so short, so and so short, and then what? Then what after that? I think those are some of the things those are some of the concerns that I have. But post that, I think, yes, the president has got the right to respond, but I think he needs to ask himself, and I've mentioned this before, when he keeps on reacting and not acting, he will realize that at the end of his term, he has covered most of his term reacting and not being, and not the president that those who elected him to do. Yes. He is not going to be able to fulfill even an eighth of his agenda because he is very busy responding to the opposition. How I wish he was responding with the things he has done, not necessarily stooping low to the level of Rigathi Gachagua. I mean, Rigathi Gachagua is not new to any of us. That is his language. He likes to fight in the mud. He likes to fight dirty. It's not new to us. So does that mean the president is going to stoop that low? That concerns me. We've got bigger problems in this country, like someone mentioned earlier. We've got the issue of Kakamega Level 5. Those are the kind of things we want to see him address. I like that he addressed the Nairobi Hospital issue. Do I like his response? No. But do I like that he addressed it? Yes. How I wish the response was better, was a bit more honest, was a bit more factual. But I like that he addressed that. That's the kind of content we want to see from the president. We'd like to see him respond on issues. Not respond and tell people, I mean, so and so is busy eating too much food, so and so is busy doing I don't know what, because then he is pushing for the political conversation to be very far away from the objective agendas we need to have.
Yes.
So for me, the fact that he is a president, the buck starts and stops with him. So the opposition has got the right to come after you and ask you, why are your cabinet secretaries not working? Why are your permanent secretaries politicking? They should not be politicking. Why has 11 billion been siphoned from SHA? Those are the questions that, they should be asking him. So I would have expected that when the president shot at them because of what they eat, who they are sleeping with, and all these things, they should have responded and said, well, if you're very concerned about what I'm eating, why don't you fix Kakamega Level 5 hospital so that I can go and get checked there? Those are the kind of responses we want to see. Turn whatever conversation, whatever insult he's giving into an agenda-based conversation. Because 2027 is not so far. Come July, come June, you can have those conversations. You can shout whatever you want to shout because we'll already have read your manifestos. But I think the president complaining that they're talking too much about him, we know he loves the attention. We know he's enjoying the attention. But we also realize that the buck starts and stops with him. There's no way around it.
That's it. All right. Once we come back, it doesn't stop there on this agenda for making the president the main agenda. Because regarding Gachagua, he's been quick to respond. And he said, now I'm happy that you are angry. I'm reading this quote. We translated it. I'm happy that I've made you angry. That's exactly what I wanted to hear. So the onslaught will continue from here henceforth. Surely, Umoja, even if you want to say that it's not just about the president, the DCP party leader is making it about the president. That his agenda is the president, not anything that is not about the president. Once we come back, we'll also be talking about this observation that wherever the president goes, the united opposition follows, that their campaign trails are around the places where the president is visiting as well. The one in Kisii, the president is going to Kisii. The one in Western, there are plans that they are going to Western as well. Is that not making it about the president as opposed to their agenda that they're supposed to give Kenyans? And when this manifesto is going to come up? Because the president is already saying, my manifesto is out. I'm all about youth, development, and the economy. Can the united opposition or can the united alternate government, just like Umoja is placing it this morning, come up with their proper counter? Once we come back right from this break, and Look Up TV is our social media platforms. The hashtag is The Morning Drift.
Taarifa zinapochipuka na kutufikia papa hapa kwenye makao makuu ya chumba cha habari cha runinga ya Look Up, kwenye taifa, kwenye serikali, kwenye bunge, tunajitosa hadi kwenye sauti ya wenyeji ili kupata tu maoni ya wenyeji kuhusu masuala haya yanayochipuka.
Maana hii kitu inaenda kuumiza Mkenya kwa tax.
Hakuna kitu tunafurahia. Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Sisi tunaumia, si ati tunaumia ile ya kiukweli. Juu maisha ni ngumu.
Na bila shaka tunapata maoni yao ili sauti yao ipate kusikika. Na watasema hili, waseme lile, watasema hiki na waseme kile, almuradi sauti yao ipate taa.
Mambo ya mafuta tena imekuwa ni changamoto zaidi kwa kila mtu wa bodaboda.
Uchumi ikikuwa stable, tunaamini mambo itakuwa sawa sawa.
Kwanza alikuwa na ria wasi wa boda, mama mboga nini. Hao sasa ndio wamefinywa zaidi manzi.
Mtazamaji, hii ni bunge la wenyeji.
Do you need a dose of hope? If so, you are in the right place. We think of ourselves around here as hope dealers, delivering truth, power, and inspiration to hearts and minds all over the world. If nothing else has worked for you, why not give the God thing a try? For it's in the presence of God that you'll find everything that you need. Amen.
I recall the doctor telling me that day, he said, Sarah, I'm sorry about what happened to you, but you see, life happens. You would have to learn to work with your hands, depend on your hands more.
And today, if you're going through anything that you do not understand, just call on this name, Jesus, and he will save you.
I realized I love music when I was about 7 or 8. I used to puff my cheeks and play the 12-bar blues. Like I'd walk around the house doing like.
Why do we need the Holy Spirit?
I mean, if you look at what Jesus said when he was leaving, he said he is going and that he will send the Holy Spirit as our helper.
So God knows everything since the end, from the beginning, has a plan for your life. So to find that plan for your life, you must find God. When you find God, you will know the path for your life.
That is Natembeya right there, weighing in on those issues or the abuses that we've seen crossover from the president and former Vice President Rigathi Gachagua. As it stands, again, that's Natembeya saying, I mean, Mr. President, keep off. And the president is also saying, well, you started it, so I'm going to keep at it. The words of the president, 99% of his time is going to be used in working for Kenyans, and that 1% is going to be used to deal with the opposition in the country. Moja, just before we went on break, I wanted to respond to this. If it's not about the president, then why would Rigathi Gachagua come back and say that that's exactly what I wanted? That's the reaction that I wanted from you. I wanted you to get angry. I know that you're angry. I know that I've got you where I wanted you to be. That's exactly what he said. Is that not a man, Umoja, declaring that, hey, guys, for me, it's just me and this guy. Nothing about policy, nothing about agenda. It's me and President Ruto. Is that not what it is?
The president is saying that is going to spend 99% in the development, yes, and 1% in dealing with the United Alternative Government principles. And from our side as a United Alternative Government,
Kenyans are spending 99% dealing with the president, and with us, we're only spending 1% dealing with him. So when it reaches 10th of August 2027, we are now going to spend the 99% of the Kenyans plus 1% of the United Alternative Government, so that it can be a totality of 100% dealing with him and sending him home. Whatever, you know, the concept that people do pick about Honorable Rigathi Gachagua, people pick this concept differently in terms of evaluating what he speaks, the message that is passing, and the target audience of this particular messaging. When he talks about, you know, the president, okay, let me start by the sentiments that you've just played there.
Yes.
That is the point that I wanted you to be, so that you can stoop too low to that particular point. Whatever Rigathi Gachagua has been advocating for throughout within the Mount Kenya region, you know, there are promises which were made to the Mount Kenya region during the formation of that particular, I don't know the coalition by then, which was in 2022. It was called Kenya Kwanza.
Yes.
There's a promise that an MOU that they are signed with the Mount Kenya region, and they were doing it the person who was doing it was Rigathi Gachagua on behalf of the Mount Kenya region.
Yes.
And he's saying that majority of them has not been fulfilled. Do you know why he picked the deputy president from the Mount Kenya region? So that he could get the Mount Kenya region vote. Mount Kenya people, because those utterances, they are made at Mount Kenya region. They have not been implemented. There were promises on the coffee, there are promises on the tea, there are promises on different parts. What forms a part of the economic activities of the Mount Kenya region, milk and so on and so forth, they have not been implemented. So him stooping at that particular level means that he has been triggered by the consistency of the United Alternative Government, that now he has nothing further to promise or to back it up in terms of the policies. These policies that even Bolo wants us to do. How can you bring a policy that is going to be implemented by the people who support the government and also attends the political party rallies? You saw during the Linda Ground tour at Siaya. CS Finance was there, and he was given the microphone and he spoke. Do you know what he spoke? CS Energy was there. He was given microphone. He spoke. Do you know what he spoke? And you want us to give them their policy, the policies as United Alternative, which can be implemented in the executive. It is not possible. Where the level the president has come right now, that is where we needed him. Meaning, without further or direct translation, he has come to the level where he can't accept the truth which is being told. Now he goes to the level of being, because it's a symbol of the social, or it's a symbol of unity for the country. Whatever he said yesterday, does it portray the symbol of unity? Him being the symbol of the unity? No. It's a symbol of disunity because of the utterances that he continuously make. Because I know from Western you go to different places. And we are not following, he's the one following us. Why, if we go to places we are being tear gassed? We went to Witima Church in Odaya, we were tear gassed. We went to Kisii, we were tear gassed, we were thrown with stone. Do we own tear gas as United Alternative Government? He's the one following us. With us, we cannot follow him. At that particular point, I take a break with the one-term slogan.
I'll be coming back to you on that point of who's following who, because there have been accusations that your campaign trails are around the campaign trails for the president as well. We'll be coming back to you on who follows who. Bolo, Rigathi Gachagua is right there. I mean, is the president getting vindicated? Because the man who's saying, oh, okay, now you've abused me. Yes, I wanted you to be right there where I've got you. Now you've come to my level, so let this kick on. I mean, aren't you just confirming that, me, Bona, it's just me and you? I mean, the president is right to say, well, you're making it all about me.
We know that the president has got anger issues. We saw it in 2024 when he came out and did a press conference and everybody asked, who was that? I mean, surely we don't have such a short memory. We do remember that press conference that sent out and threatened young people as they were protesting against a bill that they felt was going to, take away a lot from them.
Yes.
So it's not new to us. But it worries me when the president says he's going to deal with the alternative government, especially when we have seen instances of them being arrested on charges of terrorism, especially when we are seeing them being tear gassed in churches, especially when we are seeing their people coming after their properties. So I think for me, that really worries me. A challenge I would throw to the alternative government. I would term them successful if it were the other way around. If it were the president following them. If it were the president saying, these guys have done so much damage in this county, let me go try and fix it. If it were the president saying that I have tried to speak to these people, but I couldn't speak because the alternative government was already here and they have sold a narrative and it has sailed through. So I think that is my challenge to you. That is when I would term you successful. Yeah. I think other than that is, this is reminding us a lot about 2022. 2022, the president, then deputy president, was campaigning on populism politics. I mean, the hustler narrative, the way he whipped emotions of people. And we are seeing them push him back to that corner. This is a man who is a political guru. So the corner you're pushing him, and when, as Rigathi Gachagua says, I'm putting him where I want him, it's going to be dangerous not just for them, but for everyone in this country, because he will easily turn that narrative into something that favors him, into something that whips the emotions of Kenyans who forget very easily and take him back. But I'm also wondering, and I think I'd like to just ask, I saw the president say, and throw a fit at Rigathi and say, you know, you slept with a woman who is 19, was it? Yeah, he said you slept with a young woman.
Who's as young to be your daughter.
You impregnated her, etc. Did you not know that when you appointed him as your deputy president, Mr. President, sir? Is it something that you just woke up and realized? If it is, it means you don't do your due diligence, and that should make us question you as the president. So I think for me, is both sides, I'm very disappointed in both sides. I'm disappointed in the president. I'm disappointed in the alternative government, but I'm even more disappointed in the president. Yes. I would wish to hear more of what they plan to do. For the alternative government to say that we don't want to share our policies or what we want to do because the president will steal it, I think that is the most fictitious statement I have ever heard. Because we all know, and Simba, you'll agree with me, yes, if you're not the originator of an idea, you might struggle with implementation of that same idea. And so why are they worried about it? Why not put him in check and say, there's the issue of the finance, of the new university funding model. Manifesto 2 went round, collected views from young people. And young people said, we feel like university is now becoming an option for the rich. We are not even there. It's not even an option for the rich and this for the middle class. No, it is an option for them. They decide because of that's what they feel, yes, right? And the document goes ahead to give alternatives. That's what we want to see. We want you to come out boldly and tell us, these are the alternatives that we are giving. But for so long as you're obsessed with what the president is, where he is going to, where he is speaking to, that presents an issue. Because then, are you able, I would wish that the alternative government speaks and says, from the county assembly level, right, these are in each and every county where we are represented, these are the policies that we have thought of. These are, the kind of oversight measures that we have put. At the parliamentary and Senate level, this is what our parliamentarians have done. Not just speaking to oppose, but these are the bills that they have tabled. These are the motions that they have, or statements that they have raised. This is what we want to do better in 2027. Yes. Because if you tell us that it's too early, when are you going to tell us? In April, after you've unveiled your president? Then you're giving us how many months to actually dissect? And the issue I have with these rallies is, it's not a dialogue. It is the politicians shouting at us, dancing for us, telling us what they want to do, but we don't get to ask them, how are you going to do it? That failure and that gap is one of the reasons why we have the mistake that we have in State House today. Because it is a mistake, right? We were not able to ask, you're saying that you're going to do 1, 2, 3, but how are you going to do it? Because previously it was, oh, you're taking too many loans, my government is not going to take any loans. But now, that has changed. Yes. We'd like you to ask such questions when you go on your rallies, Umoja. We'd like you to ask, you said you're going to curb corruption. Why have we not seen anybody arrested with the 11 billion that has been stolen in SHA? Those are the questions that we'd like you to ask. So even as you are obsessed with where he is going so that you can follow him, I would term you a success if it is him running after you, yes, and not the other way around.
Pretty much. Moja, let's talk about it then. I'll take you back to a week ago. It was in a church at Kaga Methodist Church in Meru. The deputy president and his team had already, a week earlier, announced that they're going to attend that particular church service at Kaga Methodist Church in Meru. What therefore followed is that Rigathi Gachagwa's team, after learning that the deputy president was going to attend that particular church service, and we do know how these things go, there are prior announcements that the deputy president is going to be at the place. They go in with the security detail, they comp everything, make sure that all is ready to welcome the deputy president. Your party leader then decided that he was also going to attend that particular church service at Kaga Methodist Church in Meru. Is that not you trying to follow and thwart any other little thing that the president and his men are doing, therefore making it all about him? I mean, Umoja, there was no lack of churches to go to in Central.
You know what? We've attended numerous church services.
That's it.
Since we formed the United
And we are not denying that.
And these church services, we don't invite ourselves. We are being invited.
Yes.
I think that should be very clear. I was in Meru that particular time.
That's it.
And we first attended a church service around Meru town. Then that service we were invited because it was starting at 8 a.m.
That's it.
Before that we did a presser. Then after that we were supposed to be attending the ordination of that bishop of the Kaga, at the Kaga Methodist Church.
Yes.
That one we were invited. So when we went there, a prior team, so that we can be in a position at least to settle a few things there, the policemen evicted us. That we did not have any invitation. We issued them the invitation that we had from the bishop. It was just because of the political inferiority complex that was affecting them. Because they knew that if we could get that particular podium also to talk to the people, they would have lost totally, and someone maybe could have lost the job, and it would have been quarreled maybe at the State House. That was a political manipulation. We were not inviting ourselves that day. We were invited. We had the invitation cards. It is good you are saying that with them, they posted 1 week ago.
Yes.
That they were supposed to go to that church.
That's it.
With us, we were invited 2 weeks early. So who followed who?
You couldn't say no?
Who followed who?
You couldn't say no?
Yes.
You couldn't say no?
Yes.
Could you say no to that invitation, knowing very well that the government was also going to be there?
With them, they were invited 1 week to the function.
Yes.
With us, we were invited 2 weeks to the function. So which one came early?
But couldn't you say no?
No.
Could you say no? That we're not going to be attending?
You know, when we were invited as one of the chief guests for that particular ordination.
Yes.
Well, the bishop was being ordained there. So when we had accepted, there was no rejection or there was no any communication further that we were given to stop us from going to that particular church. If you invite me to your church today and I accept to come, and you don't communicate to me on postponement of anything, say I will come if I have that particular time, and I had confirmed to you. So why? This was just a political manipulation on the stage.
But upon learning that, well, the deputy president was going to be there, you had all the time to pull out.
We could only pull up under the guidance of the bishop who invited us. He did not ask for any pull out.
Yes, you meeting.
Why not him pulling out from the church, the deputy president? Why is it that were the people supposed to pull out?
You meeting the deputy president at that church, was it going to work for you or against you?
All of us, no, that scene was not political. All of us were going for the spiritual nourishment.
But you've never, every other time that you get a chance to speak in church, Umoja, it's never been about the spiritual nourishment. It's all been about what the government is not doing, what the government should do. What you as the position
I think what happens.
Yes.
we first attend the church service. Until the church service is over, is when we are being given the political podium. Other times, the political nourishment comes when we participate within the vineyard of the Lord. Don't you see us even taking the 1/10, the tithes? We do. We sing in the church. After that is when we are being given the political, not even the political, the space to greet the people. When you meet the people, actually what we say in the church are the things that they ask us. The state of the nation in the church. Can we not be in a position to answer them? It doesn't come intrinsically from us. It is them that are asking us. Anytime you give them, even the pastor asks us that what happens in the country, then we can be in a position to update. Those things, they don't come from us. I wish one of these fine days, I will pick you so that we attend one of the church services.
But
you will say that these things are coming from the people.
But I normally see exactly what happens. Even some of these statements that have been made happen right there in front of church. I don't think those bishops normally tell you, now you hit the president right where it will pain him in front of the church.
I'm giving you a challenge that next church service when you are going, we will be live. Please follow on what the bishop says and what the people say. With us, we just go there. Actually, let me tell you one thing. With us, when we go to the church, we just find after 2 minutes, the door is full, everywhere is full. It's just the love of the people. It is not, that's the love. We cannot control the how people love us outside.
Umoja, be it what it is, I'll talk about the next.
Yes.
Is it going to be a surprise for us to see that the next plan of the United Alternative Government rallies are going to be in Kisii and Kakamega counties?
Yes.
Is that where you're headed?
We are going to Western.
But the president is in Western as we speak.
It's for the development tour. With us, do you know the mission that we are going to achieve in Western?
Unless you tell us, Umoja, what it is.
I will not tell you. Wait for the post.
So aren't you following the president?
Is the one following us? When we went to Witima Church, actually I was also to ask when we went to Witima Church, there was no government officer who was there. There was no deputy president, there was no cabinet secretary. We were the people who were invited to that church. Why were we being tear gassed? What did we do? Why were we being tear gassed in the church in Nakuru? What did we do? And there's nobody there.
Umoja, if you go to Western next week,
yes,
aren't you going there because the president has been there?
No. We are going on our own mission.
I think this is the issue I have.
We can even go for a church service. And he has not gone for a church service. He has gone for the meet the people too.
But Simba, this is the issue I have with United Alternative Government.
Yes.
When we started this show, none other than Umoja, and I want to challenge everyone to go back. Just this clip is live. Go back just several minutes ago. And Umoja here categorically stated that they are following where the president is going, so that they can
no.
So that they can. Umoja, can I finish?
You actually did say that, sir. Umoja,
I said no.
In fact, you said we are going.
I would wish we'll go back to that clip. I think I said, not even I think, I firmly said that they are the people following us. And I gave that example even what happened. No. Actually, just finish, then I'm coming to that.
Umoja actually said, before he interrupted me, that they are following where the president is going so that they can clean up the mess that he leaves there. So that they can so that they can address the issues because they believe that he is lying to Kenyans. So for him to now change that.
Not to believe, you also believe.
So that, I mean, he doesn't speak for me, but so that he can also, for him to just come and change it, less than a few minutes, I mean, we are not even done with the show, and he is changing his statement. It concerns me greatly and deeply. Because we are trying to look, the alternative government should actually be an alternative. We cannot see you doing the same things. Yeah. But also I'd like to ask Umoja here, as a member of the United Alternative Government, are you not concerned that Rigathi Gachagua, who was a member, who is actually at the forefront of UAG, is actually the one who revived police brutality when he was deputy president, pushed and encouraged for it. Now he switched on the other side. He has switched his conversation, but he has never apologized. He has never apologized. So as the alternative government, accountability must start with you. We would like to see you, and I am going to actually share this clip, this particular one. A challenge to you, Umoja, as a young person in United Alternative Government. We'd like to see you push the former deputy president to take accountability for the lives that were lost. in the protest when he was the deputy president. Would like to see him take accountability for police brutality then. Would like to see him take accountability for the theft that happened when he was the deputy president.
Yes.
You cannot switch just because you're no longer in government and it no longer favors you. Once we see that, we might begin to think that you guys are actually genuine, that you're not just after power, that he's not just obsessed with ensuring that Ruto must go actually is a reality. Ruto must go, and then what? Then what after he goes? I am, by the way, a firm believer that he has actually, he has achieved way, way below average. But for me, the difference between myself and most Kenyans is we want to see the person telling us one term and Harambe one term, because that has been your slogan recently. Then what? What are you going to bring to the table when you come to government, if you are given that chance?
Yes.
Are you able to start? Because if you cannot hold that person who is with you accountable, how sure are we that you'll be able to hold corrupt people accountable? That to me is a question for you, Umoja. As a young person in United Alternative Government, are you going to ask the deputy president, the former deputy president, to take accountability for the lives that were lost and the police brutality that he encouraged when he was a former deputy president?
That's it. Even as you get ready to respond to that, I've got a couple of comments here that I want you to listen to. This one is from Vivian. Good morning, how are you doing? Saying, look here, anybody who says one term in this country becomes popular. And the opposition know that. So one term gives you popularity. I've never heard policy from the United Opposition. I'll read another one here. This is from Jerry. Good morning, how are you doing? Saying, well, if you speak against the president right now, you don't have to make sense. And that's the pity for majority of Kenyans. They are tired, but even the opposition is not anything different. No solutions, all speak. This is from George. How are you doing? Kayesi, how are you doing, sir? I hope you're doing okay. He's saying this politics for one term and two term are useless. For the very first time, we have the opposition that just wants one thing. Ruto out of power. But is that what Kenyans want? Jump into that. Umoja.
Thank you. I think out of the messages that you've read, the epitome statement remains, Kenyans are tired.
But they're not necessarily in one term.
Kenyans are tired.
But not necessarily in one
So
term.
if you're tired, that means that you need a solution. And the solution is the only United Alternative Government. That's why we are the only people who can provide the solution.
But you haven't,
Based on
but
what?
Umoja, you haven't come out with a solution yet.
Our solutions are there. That
Yes.
when we are in the office, we can be in a position, or we are going to implement 100%.
Yes. How you
right now, as the opposition,
Yes.
there is we don't have the resources.
That's it.
The person that is accountable for every Kenyan resources is the president. As United Alternative Government, we can only provide the policies, and also we can provide hopes. We can provide the manifesto. We can provide the solutions to the current gaps which are in the current government.
Yes.
Things like the housing. How many times have we come to oppose the issues of the housing where people's pay slips are being cut for no good reason? And the housings had been built even the previous governments of the President Uhuru Kenyatta, the President Mwai Kibaki, where my party leader served as the vice president. Did you not see the houses being built? And people are staying in those houses. Were they interfering with the pay slips of the people? What happened? What happened with the NHIF? Which gap did he have that SHA has to come in place? And SHA has consumed a lot of money. We are not even seeing the progress. University funding model, the current one. Why is it that the education currently is for only those who are in a position that are in high class financially? What about that person of a peasant farmer who comes from a deep region in Baringo, who has been put in the third band, second band, first band? Will this person be in a position to manage paying the school fees? What happened? We are the people who are going to provide the solutions. Just check the people, just check the principles and the people around the United Alternative Government and the think tank. These are the people, maybe some of them had served in different capacities in the previous governments. Were people complaining of what you are complaining right now? No, we are the solutions. We are going to do it better to make the lives of the common citizens a better place. Whatever is killing the country right now is a lot of borrowings from the other countries and also from the World Bank. What are we going to do? and which mechanism are we going to put in place? So we are not saying that we are not going to borrow. Even if we have to borrow, on which ratio, on which rates are we going to do it? And are we going to put this accountability that we borrowed this, to do this, to do this, to do this, and to do this? And finally, Honorable Rigathi Gachagua is not a, when he was in government, I had a saying that he used Kenyan's apology, how many people were killed, how many, don't we have the Inspector General of Police? Between the deputy president.
Simba Omoja is out of order.
You know, we just, each and every person, you must carry the cross according to the responsibilities which are constituted.
But he made remarks.
Which are constituted.
Did he not make remarks,
Umoja? And implementing is different things.
No.
Who implemented?
So I think it is for that reason and that reason alone that Kenyans should not even listen to United Alternative Government, because they cannot take accountability.
IG of police, is it not there? IPOA gave out the report. Did you hear the name of Rigathi Gachagua in the IPOA report? It was not there. So let's carry the cross according to the responsibilities. There is nowhere Rigathi Gachagua was branded the responsibility of the Inspector General of Police.
So it's the same way as saying...
The only apology that he owes Kenyans is that he came, he sold his boss, and he sold based on the manifesto of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe of which some are not being implemented. Maybe I can say some are being implemented.
So he doesn't owe us an apology for saying that it is okay for police to shoot people. It is okay for people to die when they're protesting. I will pull it up. I will pull it up. I will pull it up.
Pull it up. The only apology that he says that you people is the apology of...
Let me just ask my director to pull it up as well.
Please.
Yeah, let it be there. So that because maybe the context of which she's also understanding it might be different from the context that also we understand it from the United States government.
That's okay. Director, if you're listening, can you give us a voice note of what Rigathi Gachagua spoke about when there was a lot of police brutality in the country at the height of the Gen Z protests in the country? That was back in 2024, isn't it? Sorry, 2023. 2023, when there were protests in the country as well. I'm sorry to guide you in that direction. Once you have it, please talk to me. We'll play it as well. Here's the thing, Bolo, I would like us to continue with this conversation as well. And Umoja, this is the biggest criticism that we're getting from Kenyans who are talking to us this morning. And I'll read it like this. It's a very detailed analysis of what is wrong within the United Alternative Government. That's why up to now, nobody knows the direction or the manifesto that they are taking. This is... I'll read this one from Timon. Timon, good morning. How are you doing? So this is what they're saying, that up to now, we do not know who the presidential candidate for the United Alternative Government is. We do not know who they are fronting as the deputy president. We do not know what their biggest manifesto is, because they can't do that until they have decided who they're going to front as leaders. No wonder all they have right now is speak against the president, even when it doesn't make sense to speak against him. So until they tell us who their leaders are, it's when we're going to see clear communication from them. But for now, it is one time and vibes and inshallah. Can Bolo? Bolo is going to respond. We actually have 7 minutes left.
I'm so touched on that message.
Just hold on. I'm going to give you a right to respond. Bolo, is that what is the problem with the United Opposition? That up to now, because we don't know who their leaders are going to be, we don't know what their leadership structure is going to be, they can't communicate until they make that decision, and they're still trying to figure themselves out.
I think them sharing with us who their presidential candidate right now is not a priority. The priority is their manifesto, their agendas, their alternatives, just like their name suggests. We'd like to know what alternative measures are they going to put in place? What are their alternative policies? What amendments are they willing to make to what laws once they come in? I think that is what should be the priority. Because when we say that they can't have a manifesto depending, based on who their presidential candidate is going to be, what happens when that presidential candidate falls dead, God forbid? I mean, I was telling someone the other day, and I hope I'm still going to be safe when I say this after I leave here. I was saying that this, since 2022, it could be a coincidence, it could be orchestrated.
Yes.
I don't know. But since 2022, this is the highest number of prominent deaths that we have seen in a very long time.
Yes.
So if you are pegging a manifesto based on, based on a particular presidential candidate, then what happens when they cease to exist before the 2027 election? Does it mean you won't be able to implement it? So I think for me, them sharing with us our presidential candidate right now, their presidential candidate right now is not a priority. I'd like to know what are their solutions. That's the one thing I'm still not able to hear. Telling me that you're going to call out the names of people is not enough. That is putting elastoplast on a big wound that needs surgery. So I think for me, I'd like to see and hear more alternatives from them. I'd like to see them change tact a little bit. I'd like to see what they're doing. And like I said, with Manifesto 2, we did a youth manifesto that is owned by young people. There is no presidential candidate that is, spearheading this, but we've been able to actually see that go out. And we are seeing young candidates actually pick it up and saying, from this document, these are the 3 things that I am going to major on. These are the 3 things that once I get into parliament, or once I get into Senate, or once I get into the gubernatorial position, I am going to implement.
Yes.
So I think for me, nothing stops you right now from sharing with us what your agendas are, from sharing with us what your solutions are. You've said that you don't have the resources to implement this, and that's why we are saying, should you get to 2027, we need to know what you're going to present. We are not saying you implement them now, but what are you going to implement? I will also challenge them, Simba, that a lot of manifestos depend heavily on legal amendments and policy shifts.
Yes.
And so even when you tell us that you don't have the funds, you've got members of parliament. Wiper, for example, you've got 26 members of parliament to Moja, right? And combined, the United Alternative, you've got a huge number of members of parliament that if they decided today, they are going to push for a particular policy shift. Even if it doesn't go through because you're a minority in parliament, we will be able to see the goodwill. And for us as Kenyans, for us as voters, it will be a sign that you will actually do better and do different once you get into power, and if you get into power in 2027.
That's it.
Yeah.
But we have 3 minutes. Guess what? Just respond to this criticism here that, well, you can't communicate even when your leadership structure is not by Kenyans. That all that you have right now, because you've not figured yourselves out, is that, well, we can just keep on saying 1 term and wait for what happens, Umoja. Is that where the problem is? Is that why your manifesto is not come out yet? Because had you had leaders that would have already said, we want that manifesto developed so that we can go out and preach it to Kenyans?
Actually, I think we have the best leaders. We have the best principles alluded to United Alternative Government. Because they're saying that we don't have leaders. What comes into your mind when you hear about Dr. Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka? You associate with him the United Alternative Government. Same applies to that. But in terms, I'm headed there.
That's it.
Because all these political parties, they are done what we call the NDC.
Yes.
And even this broad-based government, they don't know their presidential candidate still. Because ODM is going to do their NDC on 27th. You don't know whether they can come out with the presidential candidate so that they can go and sit down with the UDA so that they have the presidential candidate. They never know. As Wiper Party, we did the NDC and we endorsed Dr. Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka for the presidential seat on 10th of October last year. The same thing happened to the Jubilee Party. They endorsed Dr. Fred Matiang'i.
That's it.
PLP did theirs at Fungamano. They endorsed Martha Karua. The DP Party did theirs at Fungamano. They endorsed Justin Muturi. DCP has not done theirs. They are yet to do. Plus all the political parties, because right now, our legal team is almost finalizing on the coalition frameworks.
That's it.
After they are done, because we actually, let me tell you here, we have a lot of political parties that are coming to join our coalition. We still have Azimio in place that bind us with other political parties. We are yet to know whether we'll remain in Azimio or we'll bring these other political parties into Azimio so that we form a bigger party.
That's it.
Because Azimio had 26 political parties. It is only ODM, even ODM is still there because it has not resigned officially. And the party leader for Azimio is Dr. Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka. So even Azimio, we only need some political parties we bring back into Azimio so that we can make it so big. After this endorsement of these all leaders within their NDCs, they are going to have a sit-down.
Mm-hmm.
This sit-down, we are going to bring our own structures. And I'm promising Kenyans that in the most, as soon as possible, in the next few months, on the next few days, we are going to have a structure. A structure that will be darling to the people. A structure that will be selling hope to the people. And a structure that is going to win elections 27. Our major aim, our major objective as a united authority government is to win elections and form the next government.
Simba, very quickly, I know we are out of time. As you do your structures, just remember, we don't. We don't want hope. We want food on our table. So give us a structure that will give us food on our table. But I think to the president, and I know he has said severally that one term is just a slogan, that Ruto must go is just empty rhetoric. But I'd like him to think back when we had the no reforms, no elections. What happened? We saw the inter-party parliamentary group reforms that was formed. When we had the Moi must go that started in Sabasaba, people thought it was just a slogan, and Moi even dismissed it. But what happened? It dismantled completely the one-party rule. Most recently, and now to bring him home, when we had Zakayo Shuka, Zakayo lazima utashuka, kweli Zakayo alishuka. We actually saw him go after giving an outburst, during a presser. He actually went back and said, you know what, I've heard you guys, and this finance bill is not going to be signed. So if I were him, I would be very careful in dismissing one term, in dismissing Ruto must go. The only challenge I'll give the opposition or United Alternative Government members is he goes, and then what solution are you giving? So I think Kenyans should not feel pressured right now to feel that it's a two-horse race between United Alternative Government and the current president who, we all feel can do and should do better. There are other candidates out there. There are other candidates that will come towards the process. Let's be able to actually vet all of them. And until the United Alternative Government gives us who their forefront person is, we also cannot consider them, because we cannot think about a ghost. Yeah.
Pretty much. Guess what? That's the conversation this morning. Do you agree that one term is not an agenda? As the president says, he needs to hear manifesto, he needs to hear ideas. Because according to the president, he says, you ask him, he will tell you what he's doing. Youth employment, Nyota Fund, constructions across the country, affordable housing projects. And that is what he's telling the United Alternative Government they cannot compete with. Take our guests back to the time that they joined us this morning on a conversation at Lookup TV across all your social media platforms. For all those who were able to send in their contributions this morning, I really do appreciate it. I'll see you another day for another conversation. Good morning and goodbye.